Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan, and yes, I have my lighting, I have my fan, and look, it's Sekhmet the not kitten anymore. And of course Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person, for my YouTube videos will have a nice pan of the camera to Sekhmet. Isn't she so beautiful? She's gorgeous, she's gorgeous, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. So it is my Hi, Bast. You want to be in the video? Bast is debating. You want to be in the video? Come on. Yes, Bast. You're so beautiful. She's in the video too. The Black Cat Brigade is here. Mwah. We have the two black, by the way, I have 4 cats, 2 of them are black, and they are here. Bast and Sekhmet. Bast and Sekhmet. Speaking of Sekhmet, this is my newest BookTube video. Mighty Silva's Dark Goddesses. Unlocking the power of Hecate, Lilith, the Morrigan, Baba Yaga, Kali, Oya, Persephone, Hathor, Sekhmet, and more. So I've known about this book for a while, and the book was published last year in 2024. Let me talk to you. Oh, bye, Bast. Sorry you have to go so soon, but come back. So I want to just give you a brief reading of the table of contents. Okay. Did I offend a dark goddess because I am doing this? They said no. That's good to know. So table of contents. Introduction. Followed by Chapter 1, the archetype of the dark goddess. Chapter 2, Greek goddesses. Chapter 3, Egyptian goddesses. Chapter 4, Mesopotamian goddesses, such as Lilith. Chapter 5, Slavic goddesses, such as Baba Yaga. Chapter 5, Slavic goddesses. Chapter 6, Hindu goddesses like Kali and Durga. Chapter 7, African goddesses like Oya. Chapter 8, Celtic Irish goddesses, specifically the Morrigan, who is an Irish goddess. A Celtic goddess, yes, but specifically an Irish goddess. The Morrigan. Yes, Irish. I was thinking of another goddess, but a Welsh one. Chapter 9, Norse goddesses. Chapter 10, Embracing the Dark Goddess Within. Chapter 11, Honoring the Dark Goddesses, Rituals and Practices. Let me read that again. Chapter 11, Honoring the Dark Goddesses, Rituals and Practices. Table of Correspondences. Conclusion. And then a section titled, Here's another book by Mighty Silva that you might like, as well as the free gift only available for a limited time, and then the references. So here's my take on this book. So first of all, this is definitely a very good introductory book to someone who knows nothing about the dark goddesses, who's never worked with dark goddesses before, and who wants to begin developing a relationship with the dark goddesses. That's number 1. Number 2, it is definitely an introductory guide. It is a primer, because not every dark goddess is listed. And there are other dark goddesses that are not included in this book, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I will tell you that I have mixed feelings about this book. Is it a great introductory book? Yes. Is it a book that I love? No. Is it a book that I like? Depends on the day. So I will tell you some of the reasons why I'm having difficulty liking this book. Number 1, I've found quite a few typos. Grammatical and syntactical errors, as well as typos. And that's a thing with me. I understand that this book is probably self-published. Nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to write a book, then, and if you're going to self-publish, then the onus on proofreading it is crucial. And I would say if a self-publishing author cannot hire a professional proofreader for whatever reason or reasons, then at the bare minimum, that self-publishing author could have a close friend or a loved one go through the book and proofread it. Now, here's one of my other issues with this book. Chapter 3, Egyptian Goddesses. Now, remember, my primary pantheon is the ancient Egyptian pantheon. So, here's why I have an issue with this book. Chapter 3, Egyptian Goddesses. When one thinks of ancient Egyptian deities, only a few come to mind, like Cleopatra, Nefertiti, and Tutankhamun. Cleopatra was never a goddess. Nefertiti was never a goddess. Tutankhamun was never a god. Were they deified? Absolutely. Were they deities? No, they were not. Why? Because they were in a body. It's the same concept as a guardian angel and a spirit guide. Guardian angels have never been in physical form. They have never had a physical incarnation. Spirit guides have. Your late maternal grandmother, just like my late maternal grandmother, is not your guardian angel, because your late maternal grandmother was in a body. But your late maternal grandmother is absolutely a spirit guide for you. Same thing with my late maternal grandmother. She is absolutely one of my spirit guides. Why? Because she was in a body. That's why I came into the world, because she was in a body and I'm in a body. And my mother, her daughter, is in a body. So that's my other issue with this book. And then, of course, let's go to the tables of correspondences. Persephone, the goddess of spring and fertility and the queen of the underworld. Do I have an issue with that? No. Equivalence, the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis. Really? No. Just for the record, no. I have spent time with the goddess more commonly known as Isis. She is my mother goddess. My very first cat as an adult was named Isis. And by the way, that cat approved that name. She didn't just answer to Isis because she wanted to appease me. No. She was like, you know what? I like that. And she approved. But towards the end of her life, she became Isis the alpha female. But and she was a black cat, yes. Make no mistake, she approved that name. So, and as somebody whose life partner happens to have as his primary pantheon the Hellenic or the ancient Greek pantheon, and as somebody who used to read classical mythology when I was younger, I can honestly say that there is no equivalent between Persephone and the goddess more commonly known as Isis. There are similarities, yes. Are they equivalent? No. The only thing that makes them equivalent is that they have a connection to the High Priestess card of the tarot. Because in many tarot decks, one sees a lot of Isian, as in relating to Isis, iconography and symbology and attributes. Persephone is actually on the High Priestess card of the Mythic Tarot, written by Juliet Sharman Burke. So yes, there is absolutely a relationship between Persephone and the goddess more commonly known as Isis in that respect. But, and Isis was never a queen of the underworld. In fact, technically one could argue that her husband and brother Osar, who's more commonly known as Osiris, is the lord of the underworld, after his death, after his assassination by their brother Set. But she is not a queen of the underworld. She is a queen of life, hence why she holds the Ankh. So that's my other issue with that. And then, of course, the references section. The references section has no books listed. They're all websites or web pages. I have an issue with that. I'm like, how can you not have even one book? Not to mention the fact that, virtually every book that I've ever read about goddess studies and the goddess mysteries has certain books that are listed in the bibliography. One of them, of course, is The Holy Book of Women's Mysteries by Z. Budapest. Another one, which is constantly featured in bibliographies of goddess studies books, is When God Was a Woman by the late and great Merlin Stone. So my overall rating of this book is 3. And I will tell you that after reading this first chapter in this chapter on Egyptian goddesses, I'm kind of struggling to finish reading this book. I have not picked up this book I have not read anything of this book for more than a week. And this is a short read. It's under 200 pages, including the end pages. It's 162 pages. It's not even a full 200. So this is, again, a very good primer for people who want to learn about the dark goddesses, who want to begin developing a relationship with the dark goddesses, who want to begin exploring dark goddesses, even if they never work with them. And of course, I love that Kali Ma is on the cover. So it has its pluses, it has its minuses, but for right now, I have a feeling that my rating of this book is going to remain at 3. But, all that being said, if you want to learn about some of the more well-known and some of the lesser-known dark goddesses, this is a great introduction. If you want to learn about the different attributes of these goddesses, be it their forces of nature, the animals that are their familiars, their sacred colors, numbers, essences, herbs, crystals, what have you. Pardon me. This is an excellent introduction to that as well. Pardon me. And last but not least, I definitely find this book has a lot of information. Now, the other thing that I have an issue with this book is that there are some pages that depict art. Like art that I've seen before. And I'm like, so I would hope that the links that correspond, and yes, there are web links with the imagery as well. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, so it's just an issue with me. It's like, okay, so was everything a web page? Was everything that? So yeah, but please, if you do not know anything about dark goddesses and want to learn, this is a great book. But please, take it from me. Not literally take the book from me, but like take it from me as far as a piece of advice. Just know that this book has its flaws. And I think one of the reasons why I'm still at the beginning of chapter 3 is because I'm afraid of finding more flaws. Which means that if I find more flaws, I might change my rating from 3 to 2. But that being said, it is a good introduction to the dark goddesses, especially if you've been drawn to them, especially if there are dark goddesses who have shown up for you. And again, even though this book does not have every dark goddess ever venerated, worshipped, worked with, etc., it's a great introduction to both the more well-known ones like Hecate and Lilith, and the lesser-known ones like Oya, Sekhmet, and Kali Ma. I also find it interesting that Hathor is mentioned, because Hathor is not necessarily a dark goddess, especially because Hathor's primary animal familiar is the cow, and she has a correspondence with the planet Venus, and she is the Aphrodite of that pantheon. Love, beauty, and sensual pleasures are her domain. And I love referring to her by her ancient Egyptian name, Het, which means, actually, I forgot. No, it means the house of Heru. Heru is the ancient Egyptian name for Horus, the sacred son of Oset, Isis, and Osar, Osiris. And of course, I look forward to reading more about the goddesses that I have worked with, like Sekhmet, like Kalima, like Oya, and of course, like Hecate. And I love the fact that Lilith is represented in this book, because as some of you know, and as I will mention in the next video we're recording for the night, Lilith has shown up in my life in a very big way. And I'm definitely looking forward to talking more about her. But for now, I do want to thank Marie Silva for writing this book. I do want to thank this book's publication and the people that were involved in its publication. I definitely want to thank everybody who's sold this book, everybody who offers this book for purchase. I want to thank all of the dark goddesses that are represented in this book for their power, for their grace, for their strength. And I especially love something that Courtney Weber wrote in her Substack. Courtney Weber has written books about Briid, about Hecate, and about the Morrigan. And that is that during challenging times, dark goddesses show up. And lately I have been referring to the dark goddesses as the dark goddesses of the resistance. So make no mistake, the focus of dark goddesses is going to increase. And especially if you are living in the United States, do not be surprised if you see more of a presence of dark goddesses, be they Kalima, Sekhmet, Oya, who governs the winds of change, as well as Persephone, as well as Sekhmet, as well as Lilith. And I definitely will be talking about Lilith in the next video. But, of course, thank you also to all of you in YouTube land for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an extra big and beautiful thank you to those of you who have already scheduled your sessions. I wish all of you a good night, a beautiful weekend, and as always, stay in tune with your intuition. Stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video. And that's